Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, my online friends and family, and you, I would like to talk to you today about acceptance. Today's word of the day is acceptance. Anyway, if your parent is toxic and narcissistic, acceptance might be the only escape from you. Accepting what they are doing to you, accepting where that comes from, and most of all, accepting that it's not your fault. Now, I can say that I suffered through some forms of actual physical punishment. A lot of the stuff I experienced wasn't abuse in my life. I did receive physical punishment in life. I cannot call a lot of it abuse. Now, however, there was a specific moment. I know I was living on Davis Bay. It's now Grey Wolf Bay, so it had to be before I was in grade 6. So anytime before grade 5, I'm guessing much sooner than grade 5, probably somewhere closer to grade 3 or grade 2. So to put that in numerical perspective, I may have been 8, 9, or 10 years old. I did something wrong. I can't remember what it was, but I knew my mother wanted to physically harm me and cause me pain because of what I did. So she reaches into a closet and she pulls out a 1x4 carving that my father had made of a rifle. So as I'm running, she takes a step and she chases me just enough to catch up to me. Then she swings and lets me have it with, I swear to God, she hit me with everything that she had in her. At least that's what it felt like to a 7 or an 8 or a 9-year-old child, because the blow took me right off of my feet. It broke the 1x4 that she hit me with. And I fell to the floor, at which point in time I let out a long scream, until I ran out of breath, until I went red in the face and I couldn't scream anymore. And then I started to panic and I couldn't breathe, and I started slamming my face against a chair over and over and over. What in my mind, I couldn't breathe as a child, and I needed to somehow force that air into my lungs. So my only thought was, if I swing my head fast enough, because my lungs aren't working, I can force air into it. And maybe if I can somehow get air into my lungs. Because at this moment, I'm just a little kid. That 1x4 was completely broken in half on the back of my leg. I have suffered pain I don't remember. Pain my brain has blocked out. I don't remember that pain. I'm telling you, it was so strong it knocked me off my feet. I screamed till I couldn't scream anymore. I screamed till I ran out of breath, and then I kept screaming without breath. And then when I couldn't breathe again, I started kicking and screaming inside that I couldn't breathe, and I was like, I can't breathe, but I can't say anything. And my mom, bless her heart, my mom looks at my father and she says to him, "What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him, Dennis? He says the truth. Thank God my dad can see some truth. Sometimes he says he can't breathe." She did this to a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. She broke a 1x4 across their body, knocked them off their feet. They were screaming and writhing in agony and slamming their face against pillows, trying to breathe in agony, and they're suffocating. And I said to my kids when they asked about this, I said something I had never gotten to before, because I always let myself get to the angry part. Always let myself get angry at grandma, get angry at mom. I let myself get angry at that toxic, narcissistic piece of shit, instead of letting that child out. That child wasn't just hurt. I forgot the pain. That physical pain, I forgot it. I never forgot the feeling that I was dying. I never forgot that feeling that she hit me so hard and it hurt so bad. I couldn't breathe and I was passing out. One hit. It broke a 1x4. You know, if you remember back just a moment ago, I said her response was to ignore me, not to come to her son and say, "Oh, are you okay? What did I do?" But to stand there and watch me in pain, watch me die. What's wrong with him? You just beat a child with a 1x4? He thinks he's dying. He can't breathe. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with you, Margie? What's wrong with you, Grandma? What's wrong with you, Grandpa? What's wrong with you? How did you beat a child with a board? How did you beat a child with a 1x4? And then you say, it was too skinny. It was skinny. It broke because it was skinny at that end. It broke because it was skinny. Not because you beat a child with it and they felt like they were dying because you hit them once so hard they thought you killed them. But if you deal with a toxic, narcissistic parent, they might tell you, you're misremembering. You don't remember it right. That never happened. Their brother and sister will say, what's wrong with you? Do you hear it? The 6-year-old child heard it from the mother. The 46-year-old adult hears it from the gaslighting uncles, the flying monkey Uncle Sheldons, and the Auntie Shelleys. What's wrong with you? You're gonna get sick. Shut up and get over it. When the toxic, narcissistic mother hits the child with a 1x4 and he feels like he's losing his life, that toxic, narcissistic parent will say, what's wrong with you? Don't ever expect that kind of person to change, okay? You can only change you. And when they say, I never did that to you, I was never toxic, I was always a good mom, you can believe yourself. You can remember your pain. You can remember what they put you through. You know they're lying. You know they're toxic. They were toxic then. Now they can't admit the truth. That's not your fault. That's not even your problem. Don't argue with your truth. Just accept what they're doing. Accept where it comes from. When you say, hey, I have not been abusing you, and they say, you're an abuser and that's all you're ever going to be. Stop talking to me. You're an abusive piece of shit. Meanwhile, all they're doing is saying, you're abusive, you're abusive, you're abusive. No accountability for what they've done. They don't think they were ever toxic. They know they were toxic, but it doesn't matter. They just want to blame you. Acceptance. See this? I accept it. It's not easy. I hope you learn to accept it one day, but that doesn't mean you forgive that person. It doesn't mean you let them do it again. You protect yourself from those people. When they try and get to you, don't let them in. Don't let them in. Heal out loud. This has been Brian P. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here. You have yourself a fantastic night.